What's good, everybody? It's Big Game James, man. I'm back in the building, and you know what it is. It's time to watch a little stuff, man. Just got done playing those Eagles on Sunday night. Didn't like the way the outcome came, but there were some positives in that game, especially from the tight end position. I thought that was the best game the two tight ends had combined. Peyton Hendershot had 2 catches. Jake Ferguson had, let's see, how many catches did he have in that game? Peyton Hendershot, he had he actually had 2 receptions on 5 targets for 22 yards, had the nice long catch for 11 yards. And Jake Ferguson, I think that was his best game of the season with 4 catches on 6 targets for 40 yards and the nice little touchdown. He had the long 22-yard one. But we really like what they're bringing to the table. I just made a tweet not too long ago and was saying this is what the Cowboys have envisioned and Blake Jarwin and Dalton Schultz when they were trying to make that 12 personnel, because it was really good until Blake Jarwin got hurt in 2021. They had that vision when Dalton Schultz had took another step up into his game. Actually, he hadn't taken a step up. He had did nothing up until the 2020, and then he was pressed into service. He did a great job when Blake Jarwin went out. We're always envisioning, man, we could see those two guys together, what excitement can be. Obviously, Dalton Schultz was the more underneath guy. He was the guy that was going to really, wasn't the wiggle guy, wasn't a guy that was going to get you a lot of yards after catch, but he was going to be steady. He was going to be able to push the chains for you. Blake Jarwin was the guy that was going to be able to extend the defense, hit you in the seams. He had, I think he ran a little bit better 40 time, but he was more of the gazelle long strider. To me, he was more athletic than Dalton Schultz, and you could see his athletic ability on the field. When I see Jake Ferguson and Peyton Hendershot, Blake Jarwin and Peyton Hendershot had the same daggone numbers. You know what I'm saying? And I see him in that mold. I see Hendershot in the mold of Blake Jarwin, be able to stretch the field more, and you'll see Ferguson underneath. Not saying Ferguson can't get out a little bit longer, but I feel like you're going to see a Ferguson work that underneath more than you see a Hendershot. He's going to extend the field more. If you see a lot of their routes, you'll see Hendershot more out wide than Ferguson. Ferguson is in more tight than Hendershot, because I feel like Hendershot gives you more of that ability. And then when I checked on their backgrounds, before we get to some video, when I checked on their backgrounds, it made more sense. When I looked at Peyton Hendershot, the first thing I saw about him, I'm going to keep it real. I wanted Jake Ferguson if you couldn't get to Jelani Woods, that athletic tight end. Jake Ferguson was the guy I targeted, in my opinion. Once I saw him at the Senior Bowl, I liked him, made videos about him. I loved his hands. I was like, if Dallas don't get that tight end, this is who they target. I had him in numerous of my mock drafts because I felt like he was in the mold that the Cowboys would want. Not super athletic, but his hands were really good. He makes the tough catches. He's a tough guy. He plays hard. He's a willing blocker. He's stout. He's about 244. Actually, Hendershot is bigger than him at 254, but he's has the frame and the trunk to kind of hold those blocks. And you could see in the game who's the better blocker. Hendershot doesn't have the mass that, to me, even though he might be bigger, he doesn't have the mass in the lower area to hold those blocks. He needs to have more of that built up in him to be able to hold and sustain those blocks. But when I looked at Hendershot's background, I noticed that when I first looked at him, I'm going to keep it real, I was like, bro, he looks like a basketball player, because I hooped. I played basketball all my life, all that, so I can tell a basketball player. When I first saw Hendershot, I was like, he had to play basketball. Then I checked in his background. He was a top basketball player in high school. So I was like, yeah, you can see his ability on the field. He looks like a basketball player. He reminded me of Aaron Hernandez when I first saw him. Obviously not the off-field, but the on-field with Aaron Hernandez, his body type, the way he was lean, the way he looked, he was like a basketball-type player to me. That's what he reminded me of. And that's what I look at when I see him. And I don't know if Ferguson's going to be better than Dalton Schultz, but I'm telling you what, those hands are ridiculous. He's a tough guy. I like the way, and I think he could be a very, very good route runner as he continues to grow. And I like Sean McEwen, and I just feel like this is the end of the road for Dalton Schultz. I feel like the Cowboys had the plan of maybe we won't want to re-sign Dalton Schultz, but we're going to tag him. $10 million ain't going to kill us. We need to tag him because we lost Blake Jarwin. Sean McEwen's coming back. We don't know about him, and this is our safety blanket. We're going to draft a tight end. We get a tight end free agency. They lucked up and got Ferguson and Hendershot. So they weren't going to extend Dalton Schultz. They wanted to see what those rookies did. Now those rookies are coming along the way they are and playing the way they are. I'm sorry. I don't see how Schultz gets a major contract with Dallas and comes back and gets a 4 or 5 year deal. I don't see that when you got these young rookies playing just as good and they're growing each week. They're growing into the mold. They're that 12 personnel is good with them. Dallas didn't. Dallas could have won that game with those two rookie tight ends. Facts. And when you're saying that, when you got two rookie tight ends and they're not, your offense is not falling down, and actually they kept your offense afloat and were able to help the offense, then you got to say, yeah, we're probably going to keep him and move on from Dalton Schultz. So I would say this is probably the last year of Dalton Schultz. He was only on the franchise tag. I don't see where he gets a big deal. Not when you got these two rookies, unless there's a major catastrophe and an injury or something like that. This is probably the last year with Dalton Schultz. They're probably going to move on. And now you have the 12 personnel and you have right here, and you got two rookie deals. So you got 4 years to figure it out because both of them, one was a fourth rounder, one was undrafted. So you got 4 years of cheap money to make this thing work. So get what you can get out of them while they're on their rookie deals. But let's go to some video. All righty, let's jump in here and look at these guys. Here we got, I think this first, a lot of plays I just got to just show a little bit of the blocking, the routes they run. They show when you look at Ferguson, they do a lot of drag routes with him underneath. I saw a few rub routes, and I saw, I think they had Hendershot when he caught one of the passes. They had him on a post route, but it's a lot of drag routes for Ferguson underneath. See some two tight end sets. They spread out Hendershot wide. They could hit them with rub routes. Well, that underneath is going to work for them, especially if you got that two tight ends, because they are threats. So I think it really helps your offense, man, especially when you have CeeDee Lamb is kind of inconsistent. Michael Gallup is still not looking like 100%. So you're going to really need those two tight ends. And the two tight ends worked. The 12 personnel worked. It worked to perfection last year until the injury. So that's just something to be looking at going forward. But like I said, you see a lot of the routes are underneath. With Ferguson, they extend the routes a little bit longer, some posts, some things of that nature, posts, slants, drags, those type of routes that look like they like to use those tight ends and probably hit them with the rub routes. But here's Ferguson right here. They always just seem to have him in tight. You can see him putting the body on him. Willing blocker, That's what I love about Ferguson. He's willing to do it. And like I said, he has the girth. He's going to continue to get bigger. He has more girth than I would say Hendershot, because just look at the body type. He looks like more of a basketball player, and you see where Ferguson is a little bit more stout. So it just makes sense for you to throw the routes out farther for Hendershot like you did Blake Jarwin, more seams, things of that nature, and you keep the underneath the Ferguson. It just works like that. But don't get it twisted. Ferguson can be like your Jason Witten type. Not no Jason Witten, understand what I'm saying? But you remember how Witten was not the supreme athlete, but man, did he know how to run those routes and really set you up. That's what I can see Jake Ferguson doing, and his hands are ridiculous. So good job, Cowboys, on that draft pick in the 4th round and getting Hendershot undrafted. Great job, front office, draft team, all that. You see here, willing blocker. Got a little bit of help right here. We get it. We see it. You see her again right here. He's willing. I like the willingness. See him again right here. I like that play action. They kill that play action with Ferguson. I like how they do that. They get that. That play action works with Ferguson right here. I like to see them doing with this with Dak, with these young boys in here, man, because it worked with Cooper Rush in this game. You see right here? You got that two tight end set. You send them both in motion. Hit that drag underneath. This is a great play call, I think. Look at that. Had everybody going one way on the play action. Boom, he's right there. Great hands. See how he saw that ball in there? He didn't body catch it. He seized the ball in there with his hands. Now, he doesn't have crazy wiggle, but he had a little wiggle when he got that touchdown, but he's got enough wiggle. Here you got Ferguson. Like I said, you see a lot more of him in tight than you see Hendershot, because he's a better blocker right now. He adds more girth, and you'll see where, I mean, we've seen penalties by Hendershot, and that's what we get frustrated over, but the talent is there. That's why you don't get too frustrated, because the talent is there. But let's just see a few things. Make sure my mic is up. so let's see what we got right here. Got thrown off a little bit. Hassan Reddick did him up a little bit right there. Let's get that back. Let's see that again. That's where you got to get stronger. That's a DN you're dealing with. That's what we're talking about. That girth got to get a bit stronger right there. Both of them. But that'll come in time. Hendershot came in like a kamikaze on that play. Bam! I like that. That was a good play. Here we got Ferguson coming out on this route right here. Is that Hendershot or Ferguson? But you see right here. Him on this post, this corner right here. See right there. He can work it right here. Work that underneath. That was a bad pass by Cooper Rush, but that pass was open. Got to make a better pass, but that pass was open. Yeah, you got to make that pass because that's open right there. Here we got him on the outside. I think this is Hendershot right here. And what I like about Hendershot, both of them ran a 4.7, 4.8, but he has more of a long strider and that basketball ability when you're running those routes and you can post up people. I think that's why the Hernandez or those guys who played basketball and then they play tight end are great. Tony Gonzalez is another one. Tony Gonzalez was he was a very good basketball player, tight end, but that basketball ability, I played basketball, and then when you translate it to football, I feel like you have the edge for guys who just strictly play football. Now, the play was there. You got to make a better pass. But you see, he had that man beat. Play fake, play action. That works all day with these tight ends. You make a better pass, that's a catch. I see both of them in here. Oh, that was Terrence Steele. Oh, that's what I was talking about. Not the best blocker, Hendershot. He'll get you some holding penalties. He's got to get better. As you can see right here, him against Reddick. And he got ate up a little bit. There's Ferguson on this side. You see that 12 personnel. Ferguson right here. Hendershot right here. Good engagement. Good engagement. Good engagement. Maybe a little too far into your chest. He can maybe toss you. But what I was talking about with that, a lot of holding penalties. You got to get Hendershot better. But that's why I compare him to the Blake Jarwin. He's more the Blake Jarwin of the blocking. Okay, because he's not a great blocker right now. He's willing, though. I like it. He's willing. He'll stick his nose in there, but he just doesn't have the girth and the ability right now to do it. As you can see right there. But I like it. He will try, and he will put his head in there. Both of them will. And this one I was talking about how you can spread your tight end white. I don't think you're doing that with the Ferguson right now, but you're definitely doing that with the Hendershot. That's what he gives you. He gives you that receiver mode. He's not just a tight end, but he's receiver mode. And I think that's what you really like about Hendershot. And he can hit them routes. You can hit him deeper. I think this is a play where you hit him right here. Bam! Look at that. They're playing that zone. He sees that soft part in that zone. I think they're playing that cover 2, and they're playing soft right here in that middle. That's where it's going to be open, that middle area. And in that cover 2, that cover 3, that middle, that short area middle is going to be open. So this is where you got to hit that. Bam! Way to catch and hold on to it. Didn't drop it. Big play because that was the first points of the game. See it again right here. Good throw, good catch, and holds on to the ball. He got smacked, but he holds on to it. Big times play by a rookie. Now you see Jake Ferguson. This is what you love to do with him. Here's another. Play action. Bam. You got your tight end right here. That's where Ferguson can eat. He's going to be reliable. You can get that all day with Fergie. You can get that all day with him. All day with him. Right, this right here, you can get that play action all day with him. Bam, bam. Right there. Like I said, he ain't going to get you crazy yards after catch, but he's a chain mover. He's that Schultz mode. Here's what I was talking about. Ferguson right here going against Hassan Reddick. I like it. He'll fight you. There's another good route here. 2 underneath. You could have had a Hendershot right there. And I like McEwen too. Remember, I was talking about McEwen last year. Let's go back to it. I was talking about McEwen last year. He could be the sneaky guy. But they was killing him with this right here. See that double route? I ain't bad plays by Kellen Moore to me. But I'm not the offensive guru, so that's not a bad. It's not about route concept right here. This is not a bad route concept right here. This is not a bad play call right here. You got those doubles underneath. Yeah, you stretch that field with those receivers. That's a good play right there. You can see it again here. Boom, play fake, play action, bam, underneath. You can work them tight ends all day with that. And you can see right here, Hendershot. And this was a great play right here to get Jake Ferguson open. See that right there? I like that concept. Hit that, hit right there. Hendershot coming here, boom. Kind of like a rub route right here with Ferguson underneath. But then he comes out, boom. You give a two-way right there. You had your running back and you had your tight end two-way. So that defender has to make a decision. That's a good play call right here. Once again, to me. And your tight end gets an effective work. Bam. Underneath, bam. There it is. That's wide open. That's a good play. A little high on the pass, but hey, he made it work. Like I said, there you go again. Hendershot. Good block, but a little late. Like I said, I love the willingness. I love his willingness. But you see, he's not the guy to be taking on ends. He's not that guy right now. He's not taking on no defensive ends. He might struggle a little bit with linebackers, but have a better chance. But he's not ready for that defensive end work right now. Hendershot is not ready. But I like how he sealed Brandon Graham right there. I like how he sealed him right here. Too tight again, set again right here. Another quick play. It was open. Got to make that play. These plays are open, though. Here you go. Boom. This should have been a touchdown. That should have been a touchdown play. People get mad at Kellen Moore, but I don't think he called a bad game on this play. I don't think he called a bad game on this. Not to me. Just me. But these concepts he was doing right here. Boom. This is a good route by your tight end too. Probably could have took him in a little bit easier with the jab step at the top of the stem. Bam. Probably could have cut it off a little better because you're allowing the defensive man to get to you at the top of that route or at the top of that stem. But here it is. That was open. He put his body into him to get that release, to get that little bit of an inch so he got breathing room to catch that pass. If Cooper Rush throws a good pass right here, I think that's a touchdown. You can see it again right here. That's a touchdown. Throw it correctly. Now, I think we're going to see a couple plays as we get ready to end it. This is where Jake Ferguson got his touchdown. I think it's the next play. You can see right here, he looks for him. He gets the quick pass. Keep him in tight. That's where you'll see Jake Ferguson work that underneath with that drag. Work that underneath with that drag. Bam. Get on the ball. Boom. You can see it right here. Drag. I like how they said Ezekiel Ellis in motion. You basically had Pollard going the other way. Bam. You got your guy. Now this play right here, like this. Play fake, play action. It works because Ezekiel Elliott's running that ball. He gets the attention of those linebackers right here, right? You got that rub. He barely put a body on him, so he doesn't see what's going on. Sorry about that. And then boom, it's right there for you. And then look at the move though. Look at the move though. Look at the move though. That's what I like, the move. Touchdown, baby. I love seeing it. How you love that? So this is my quick session, if we want to call it quick session, on the guys who are growing before our very eyes. I'm sad that they gave away 48 and 49. That was their distinction, man. That was made y'all different. Y'all should have kept them numbers. I don't know. All these other players are keeping all these numbers. Why'd y'all have to go to the 80s? 48 and 49 was killing it. Y'all would have been like the Ty Christensen. I don't know who was number 49 in the NFL, but I remember Ty Christensen at 48. And then you had Dallas Clark. He was 44. It works, dog. Y'all should have kept them numbers. Get back in the Dallas Cowboy media and say, let's go back to 48 and 49, because you two are the building blocks of the future as far as tight ends go for the team. They give the Cowboys another receiving option. Gallup is still coming off the mend. CeeDee Lamb is kind of inconsistent, so you may have to lean on your tight ends. And with Dalton Schultz being hurt with the injuries, these rookies are growing for our very eyes, and I love it. I love seeing it, and it was a great job by the Cowboys front office picking up these two guys in the draft, because these are building blocks for the future, and they're just what Stephen Jones wants. They cheap. Hear what I'm saying?